Hey everyone, welcome to my sketchbook tour. I completed the sketchbook back in March and I finally am going to make a video about it. And this sketchbook is a little bit different from my usual. I changed up the format. I went back to my large format sketchbooks. This is the Holbein Sketchpad and it is one of my favorite sketchbooks, and I really enjoyed working on a larger scale again. And also this time round I introduced a little bit of it's not really realism, but I tried to draw facial features a little bit more realistic as to my usual fashion illustration style, which is a little bit more stoic and just stylized. So I felt like this sketchbook I did things a little bit differently and also introduced a lot of colors, or more than what I usually expose myself to. I have been painting pretty monotonous for a little bit of time, but I've always told myself that I wanted to go back to using colors, and I finally got around to doing it. I definitely used way more colors, but you can still see me leaning towards more of like my black pens and brown pens a little bit more, because that is still what I really love. This sketchbook has a lot of references. My goal going into this sketchbook was just to sketch more and to get a good momentum going for myself, and I really enjoyed how some of the sketches turned out. Actually, I've got a couple of favorites in here, and I mainly reference either portraits or runway pictures. I really love those, and also there are some character sheets that I saw as well, and it's the one that I drew on a landscape because I was trying to capture emotion, and I feel like it's usually not in my works. I don't really lean towards drawing very expressive facial features, so that was something I wanted to do in this sketchbook as well. So you'll see me slowly drawing a smile with a row of teeth, or just a little bit more of an interesting expression as to my usual. I just wanted to go out of my comfort zone just to try something else, and also I wanted to sketch more hands as well, so you'll see me attempting that throughout some of the pages. But my favorite one has got to be the guy that's throwing his head back. I love the hand that I drew on that one. I feel like it looks most natural and realistic. There's still a lot to work on, and yeah, but I love the color and everything. I think that one's close to being perfect for me. I love the sketches when they're very sketchy. I achieve that with brush pens and also like those water-based markers. I like to drag the ink, and I love the effects that makes, but I feel like right now I'm still trying to find the perfect balance. I feel like I hit some of them in some of the sketches, but there are some that are overworked as well. So it's really about just practicing more and just getting more familiarized with how you want to work with your supplies to ensure that you kind of get to that right perfect balance of making it look really sketchy, but also making it look really controlled and effortless in a way. So that is the balance that I'm trying to achieve. I also try attempting more side profiles, and you'll see that throughout the sketchbook, just because I feel like the relationship between the facial elements, where I position the nose and lips and the chin, as well as the connection between the neck and the head, still needs working on. I still find that sometimes it looks really awkward how I sketch it, but it is just trying to just do more, and I guess you'll kind of figure out the natural placements. So that is something that I'm trying to work on. This sketchbook really rekindled a flame or something, because I really enjoyed the process. I look forward every day coming home from work to actually work on this sketchbook, and I really like the flow that I get in once I get a good sketch in and things like that. But there are still times that I feel like I mess up, and that's why there are also some loose sheets in the sketchbook. It's actually what I want to use to cover up some pieces that I dislike in this sketchbook, but I just thought to leave them both so you can see both the before and the after, I guess. And I feel like I'm still trying to accept those mistakes and imperfections. So yeah, but I think I'm getting a little bit closer to that. I've been an artist for quite some time already, and even though recently I've been splitting my time up to design my fashion collections as well, being like an illustrator and drawing and sketching is still a really big part of like my creative process in general, and I hope to share that more with you guys. You'll see it if you watch my Avec Moi series, which is more of me doing my fashion collections, and you'll see me littering fashion illustrations in there as well. But those artworks are a little bit different from this sketchbook that you're looking at, but I feel like I'll try to incorporate more into the sketchbook. And I do have one page that was dedicated to this collection that I was working on. I feel like it doesn't carry through that much, and it's not such a big part of the sketchbook, and maybe the next time around I'll try to do more. Quite a bit of sketches that came out of this sketchbook that I really enjoyed, and I just can't wait to do more and share more with you guys. There's also still so much I've got to improve on as well, like my hands and my proportions, my figures, and still a lot of things that I actually don't go out of my way to sketch. That's what I would like to put emphasis on my future sketchbooks to come. But ultimately I really enjoyed this sketchbook and also the learnings that I took away from it. If you would like to see the processes behind some of the spreads in the sketchbook, please do check out the playlist that I've made, and it just features some of the spreads that I did for the sketchbook if you would like to see like the progress behind how the sketch came along. Here I'm just sharing with you guys the supplies that I used in the sketchbook, and these are actually my always like go-to supplies. I don't really change what's not broken, so I love all of like the supplies here, and I've been using them for years now. So for my watercolors, I'm using my brass palette, which has Rembrandt and Amgram paints in there. And recently I've introduced this cobalt blue from Nila Kalori in that whiskey palette, and I love to use that to mix with the Van Dyke brown, and it mixes this beautiful color. It's a little bit like a black, but when it dries off you'll see the granulation. It's just so beautiful. I really like that. I've also been using that cobalt blue to mix my skin tone, because I feel like the blues in the brass palette, whenever I mix skin tones with them, I feel like there's always a lot of paint separation and granulation in there, and I feel like that can be a very beautiful effect, but when it's not intended it might ruin kind of a piece. So that is why I prefer the cobalt blue from Nila Kalori. I think it's a little bit more stable. And for my inks and markers, it's just the same old. I don't really think you need exactly the same supplies. Having a brush pen and some water-based markers are like go-tos. It's just so pretty, and I love smudging out inks with the water-based markers and just using them to make texture. I feel like it just adds so much interest to a piece. So I think that's it for today's video. I really enjoyed a lot of the sketches in here. If you've got a favorite, please let me know. I'll be really happy to hear about it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon in my next one. Bye!